We are back out at the cottage project for maybe the last time. So, a few things left to wrap up here. As you can see, we need some stairs. And the concrete is finally in place. Hooray! That's what warmer weather does. So, that is in process. We just installed a basement door here. It was a bit of a struggle. That was as far from square as you could possibly get, I think. We had to grind on the concrete, shift it all around, but it's in place. Just needs a little bit of trimming. And then inside we need to get the treads and risers on the basement stairs, and then some other miscellaneous trim pieces and stuff. So, not sure how much we're actually going to be able to record. We're here with other contractors that have music and talking and various things. HVAC was here this morning working next to us, so we didn't really get anything. Electricians, plumbers have been in and out, so we'll see how this comes together. But for right now, let's get these stairs in place. Went to put the stringers up and found out I oopsied. That one and the other three were set too high. So one is lowered and the stringer in. One is lowered. One I just took out. And one more to take out. Not exactly the end of the world, but these nails do hold well, which is kind of exactly what you want. So, what are you going to do? So, thankfully it's just a time thing. We can reuse the materials except a few nails. After that, hopefully it all goes smoothly. Well, that was a little more of a pain than it should have been, but they're all in place and they're all level. Again, custom cuts on each one of them to match the slight slope on the concrete. Wasn't too bad in this case, but enough that we had to do a little bit of adjusting. So now we'll get these squared up after the last couple screws go in and get some treads on them, and we can finally walk up and down. Alright, so we're putting some pulls into these door slabs, and they're not pre-mortised, which is good because we don't want it to go through. So we're just drilling with a Forstner bit because we barely have to get in there at all. You can see how shallow it is. But if you're going to do anything repetitively, make yourself a simple jig. It'll make your life so much easier. Just have to clamp this on at the correct height. The pre-drilled hole guides the drill bit in, and easy as that, we're good to go. Super simple install on these. They just have a little tack and two holes to put them in, so do need a nail set to get them in there properly. And oh no,
I got it. It didn't fall in a little crack like the last one did.
And we chose to go in a vertical alignment in this case, but you could do whatever makes sense to you. Nice.
Perfect.
Finished result. Choice to make on how you arrange the doors. We chose in this case to put the two front doors to the center. You could go any arrangement really. The new concrete floor in the basement has been placed yesterday. You can see it's still pretty green, but solid enough to be on. So that means we can get the basement steps in place. So start at the bottom, work our way up to the top. The temporary treads become the risers, and we got new 5/4 risers to put in, just like the steps up to the second floor. So same process as above. We're taking the temporary treads off, turning those into our risers, and then using some adhesive and just trim nail in place. When it done work. Well, unfortunately we didn't get quite as far as hoped today. We had a bunch of interruptions and other things, but definitely set us up nicely for tomorrow to hopefully finish that up. We need a few more random pieces that we don't have here, but we have more than enough treads so we can pick through and get some good stuff. And got that door complete, except to trim out. I don't know if we're doing that or not. Back out here the next day and looking maybe a little bit of storminess coming our way. There's a chance of storms today. I'll have to check the radar. But been hard at it. Well, not too hard at it. Let's be honest. Got the boards cut for the treads. So getting started screwing those in place. And then we'll cut the risers. Then we got usable stairs. Yippee! So a little bit more work here and we can get the rail going. Meanwhile, Davis is inside taking care of some miscellaneous trim and random other things. We'll check in with him in a little bit. Unfortunately, the rain is at least skirting us. Hopefully it's just a brief shower, but I can still get some work done under the porch since it is under roof. Just grab the sawhorses, start cutting the risers. Need to put an inch rip on one of those treads for the top step. And if it, well, seems like it's maybe slowing down already. If it keeps going, I'll just bounce inside. We got some doors to trim down just a little bit to make it work over the carpet. And there's plenty of things to do. The interesting thing will be to see how the water coming off the roof flows. As you can see, it was flowing this way. There's a drain. I should probably pick up those tools right there. We'll see. Everything was just drying out from the first rain, and it's pouring again. But it also looks brief again, so time to eat lunch and we'll get back on it soon enough. I have 2 boards to secure in place still. Rain is continuing off and on and happens to be on at the moment, but thankfully we built this nice covered porch to work on. So next task up is a bunch of the doors. Most of the closet doors specifically need some trimming to ride high enough to go over the carpet as they slide. The regular swinging doors to the bedrooms, they're all fine. They were higher up on the frames, set good, so no worries there. But each of these need a varying amount, and this one's the most extreme. We're hoping we can get by with 3/4 of an inch of a trim, because anything more than that, we're going to start getting into the hollow core part, as we experienced on one of the other doors we trimmed. There's only about 7/8 of fiberboard there, so not ideal. Hopefully this is enough. We're gonna find out. So there's the final results. You can see just enough clearance there, but just enough works. So one other weird note in here, apparently the lights aren't on in the bedrooms up here because they're tied to the smoke detector circuit, which I thought was supposed to be a dedicated circuit, but I'm not an electrician, so I don't know. If anybody cares to chime in, feel free to leave a comment. Something tells me that sewer wasn't draining much anymore. We're back out here on a nice sunny spring morning for what is hopefully the last day here. We only need to put the rail on the stairs and cut off the posts at the top. Those are maybe a touch high. So first thing we need to do is anchor down the bottom, get our posts in, and then should be pretty simple to get this rail on. Should is always the key word there. So we really need to, because listing photos are tomorrow, and I think they'd probably like to have a rail in the pictures. All right, one more test to go on this basement door here. Seal it up the best we can. Of course, we're only getting between the door and the existing gym. Whatever is behind that, just is what it is. But that is a big ol' gap at the top because the new door is square. The old opening, not so much. And I expected that to happen. The foam expanded right outside of the lock catch, but we'll trim it back. So we got the closed risers in now. Dave did that while I ran back to Home Depot and got a couple new 2x4s. They had sat here for, a week maybe, and twisted up like a pretzel. So just change them out for a couple different boards. A little time, but not a big loss. So, as usual, just using what we got to guide ourselves for what to cut on the rail here. I already got 3 of the pieces, just marked the 4th. So we'll get those cut. Then we got to get our 2x6 for the top with some angles on each end. And then it's really easy just getting the spindles cut to the right size. Now this rail is comparatively easy to the last porch rail that we did. We just got the pickets with the 45 on one end, so keeping that at the bottom of course, and then we're matching the rail angle at the top. So not sure exactly how many we need on this, but we're gonna find out in a moment. We're just doing a 2x4 as the consistent spacer there. That keeps it plenty within the code of the 4-inch spear cannot pass through. So got pre-cut, pre-drilled. Should move along pretty quickly, I hope. Definitely want to pre-drill these. They certainly have a propensity to split if you just drive the screw through. One side finished, working up the other side. So basically it's just the inverse cut, and well, there goes the block. Oops. Yeah, there's only one more. It's fine. So one last little project. We cut off the long posts, sanded the tops, not just sanded over a little bit of knots as the handrail, so I want it to be smooth. If you remember back, about 9 months ago when we first started here, this has come a long, long, long way since then. So, pretty much completed project here. Let's take a look at what we got inside. So as we come inside, living area here. Kind of a dining, living combo. Back to the primary first floor bedroom. That's kind of nice. It was a pretty low barrier house. There's only a step or two to get in the front. You got that nice big closet. Then, oh hi. So, first floor bathroom is kind of multi-use. It's easily accessible through this pocket door here from the bedroom, but also publicly accessible through the hall here. So, it's always nice to have a first floor bathroom that your guests can use. And the kitchen over here, nice granite countertop. It is kind of a funky kitchen given the space, but you know, sometimes that is what it is. And in that video, you saw us deal with the floor unlevelness. And back here, the finished big covered porch. So, today's work, nice stairs, a little bit of work to do in the backyard still. We're gonna clean this all up get it leveled out, grass seed down, so I can definitely imagine sitting on there, watching a storm roll through. Then it's not the most useful basement, but you do have a full door, so that's nice. And then all the way out there, nice 2-car parking pad. And the basement interior access there, tucked under the stairs. Alright, up to the second floor. And since we were last up here, well, even last inside, the painters have been through, so they caulked and filled everything. Got the second coat of paint. Looks good now. So, the only thing with these bedrooms is with the low ceiling, the fan is a little bit low, but tons of closet space. Like the back door just blew a shot. So this is a little dark without lights, but it's good with the lights on. And then in the bathroom here, it's a nice tile there. And plenty of room for the vanity and toilet. Kind of tucked in with the sloped roof, but just enough. And to the next bedroom. So, not huge bedrooms by any means, but they're definitely not small. They're good space. Kind of multiple potential uses. Could have some kids up here. Can have an office space up here. Either way, again, this one's got a nice big closet, so no shortage of storage. And then nice gentle walk back down and get just another view of the space here. Set my couch and TV up over there. All good to go. I popped back by now that the fence is down in the backyard and got some grass seed down, and the listing actually went live this morning, so this could be yours for $249,900. Pretty good price. Although by the time this airs, I bet it will have an offer on it already. We'll see. So, I'm really happy with how this all came together, given some of the wonky conditions that we started with here. If you didn't see the original videos from here, go back and check things out. There was a lot of work here, but it all came together. So, on to the next project. Thanks for watching along. Hope you enjoyed what you saw. I know we enjoyed building it and bringing it to you. If you haven't already done so, we'd really appreciate a like and a subscription. Helps things out. And again, thanks for rebuilding with us, and we'll see you guys on the next video.